Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show, Week 13 recap. Man, we're getting through the regular season. Want to go ahead and welcome in my co-host, JDM Clown. Welcome.
How's it going, Ed?
Oh, I'm ready for the playoffs.
Uh,
Getting there in a lot of leagues. Was looking and clinched a couple places, and then a couple places with 8 wins right now have not clinched. So if I'm 8-5 and I haven't clinched yet, feeling like I need to get to 9-5 in order to make the playoffs, that
hmm
feels really kind of crazy. So if you get to 8-6 and get left out of a 12-team six playoff league, so yeah, that's kind of where we are. We'll jump into the DraftKings tournament that we play in each and every week. Both you and I play in that, and this week neither of us got in the top three spots. So some other people in Clownhead Nation took home all the money. So we had Shop School with 170.44 and Man of Steel 164.86, and then Rick Topher 160.76. And I guess I always enjoy seeing what that champion has and what his team is. So Justin, I'll let you kind of go through who Shop School put in his lineup for 170 points.
Yeah, absolutely. He went with Russell Wilson, 18.84, Warren, 6.5, Zach Moss, 7.7, Debo with 38.8, Tyreek Hill, 35.3, Vontae Parker, 10.4, David Njoku, 3.7, Mike Evans, 32.2, and Atlanta Falcons defense, 17.
Gotcha. Looking at Beat the Clown, so I played against five people this week, including you, Justin, and
hmm
153.46. So I was just under that third place. I I actually had the Brock Purdy Ayuk stack, and so that didn't beat the Russell Wilson team, I guess. But I heard the big number of Mike Evans, and I did have him in my flex. So I felt like I had some of the players that really scored, but I guess I didn't have enough to get to the top. I beat the Cammer, I beat D Guz, I beat Drupert, and then I beat you. You were close, 148 to my 153, so we were kind of both in the same, um, you know, idea there. And then looking to the fifth person, actually Rick Topher, he beat me. 169.36. So must have had a different entry against me than he had to get third place at 160.76. So had he played the entry against me, he would have gotten himself into second place in our tournament. So he must have a couple different lineups there, and he would have been just on the verge of taking over first place too. So
Very nice.
really put up a good effort against me and kind of smoked me this week. So that's uh,
Absolutely.
that's DraftKings. I did post it. So as this is, for week 14 in our Discord. So if you are part of Clownhead Nation, jump in. We'd like to see that even grow higher, more people from the Clownhead, in that tournament. So ready for the main slate. It's been posted in the Discord. So as this airs, you can jump in there. I'll let you kind of get started with redrafts. We're getting to we'll have one more final time, I guess, of recapping these, but in the regular season. But this is getting toward the end. So
Absolutely. Um, in our redrafts, best ball head to head, Group A, the Canberra with a 344.68.
um, and so looking at the head to head that we the camera actually is really tough. I think I'm not sure if I guess we do have the right standings up there. Just kind of looking at those, he's in third place right now, so not quite getting the bye, but just on the verge there of getting in there and looking. He's at 8-5, so all kinds of people 8-5, and I just want to kind of pull some of the numbers here for us and where we are with who's clinched. So as I'm frantically pulling it up, so thank you guys for your patience here. But the camera has clinched a playoff spot, so it looks like 5 of the 6 have been clinched. And Justin, you're sitting in the sixth spot, holding on for dear life. So a win and you're in. So
Yes.
in that sixth spot there. So that's kind of where we are. We're there.
Yes, indeed. Fighting for my life there. Now we're gonna go on to the best ball head-to-head, Group B. King Khan 34 with a 333.29.
And he's in our top spot, King Khan, and looks like well on his way to having that first round bye. He's clinched that, and here we have 4 spots that have clinched the playoff berth. Looks like Malahomes and River AD. Malahomes with a win, and she's in. River AD is kind of tied record wise with a couple others, and you're 1 game behind. So win and some help, and you'll find your way into the playoffs in this league as well. And as you can see, I just didn't do well in these formats. Both of these leagues, I'm near the bottom or the bottom. So not something I did well at, in this format.
Oh yeah. Well, the redraft one, it's yours truly, JDM 1989 with a 276.74.
And you really came out swinging in this league. I'm actually the number 1 seed. You're look like you're in the playoff hunt. You haven't clinched yet. 4 spots have clinched. I'm solely, I will get a bye in this league, so I'm going to play this week and then I have a week off. Looks like if you win though, you are in. So you kind of control your own destiny here. And then looks like Steelers Nation tied record wise with a couple other teams, 3 other teams. So 4 teams at 6 and 7 in the 6th spot, fighting for that 1 playoff spot. So as long as you win, you're in, Justin. Here.
Yeah, and good luck to the other 4 fighting there. We'll see what happens with them. Redraft 3, Shippa 19 with the 296.92.
And Shippa, geez, way down in the 11th spot. So really coming out swinging here at the end, with a great score, but maybe a little bit too late, really for that team. Here we have the top 3 spots have clinched. You're sitting in the 1 and have that first round bye. So congratulations there. You're going to play this week and then you're off next week. This is very similar to the Big 8 format as far as what the positions are. I'm in the 4 spot here. So if I win, I'm in. Tied record wise with the 5 spot, I'd have to lose and then the wrong things happen to actually drop out of the playoffs. So it looks like I'm going to be playing week 15, but in the playoffs here as well. So both of us made it to the playoffs.
Excellent. Best ball points only won the Camber with a 278.59.
And this league, looks like Bumpsies is running away with it. It looks like the top spot, and then it looks like a little bit more of a fight for 2nd and 3rd place. We do this total points after week 17 though, so a lot of weeks still left. Really to play. With 14, 15, 16, 17, 4 weeks to play. So lots of movement here, and especially in those final 2 spots. I do play in this one and just didn't have very much success in best ball this year. What I drafted in July didn't hold true. You hit the mute button, Justin.
My apologies there. Thank you, sir. Best ball points only 2, Team Poston with a 316.14.
It looks like he's here in the 5 spot, and just kind of working his way towards the top, and the camera's kind of running away with this one as well. 400 points ahead or 350 points ahead. Looks like there is a little bit of a fight for 2nd and 3rd place though, with everybody kind of bunched up within 100 points there. Down to Team Ponson. So with 4 weeks to play, a lot of shuffling can happen in those last couple spots. And here again, I just didn't do the right drafting back in July. So find my way to not having a very solid team in this format either.
Yeah, sometimes just happens that way. Now we're gonna head on over to our dynasty teams. Clownheads 1 through 5. Clownhead 1. Jim Instant Karma with a 275.60.
And here, this is a standalone league, so it always kind of good for us to highlight what's happening. Looks like teams 1 and 2 are have clinched the bye. Jim's Instant Karma in the 6th spot is in a position where winning and then making sure that to maintain, well, it has a 400-point lead over the 7th spot. So win and basically in for Jim's Instant Karma and everybody above them with a win, in the tournament or in the final playoff pairings.
Excellent. Clownheads 2, Heifer 808 with a 277.15.
And here in Clownhead 2, actually 4 teams, solidly have clinched their playoff berth. Heifer in from the 3 spot, still fighting to try to get into that elusive first round bye. Definitely there. And so 5 teams there. As far as fighting for a playoff spot, I'm in the 6th spot right now. So win and I'm in. Don't need any help, but a loss and it gets kind of murky. With 2 teams tied in the 7 and 8 spot record wise. If they get wins, then it could shuffle around a little bit. Looks like I'm behind one of the 7 spot in points just by a couple. So I really need a win to get in.
Indeed. Clownhead 3, Rant and Rave with 310.86.
And in Clownhead 3, we only have the top 2 teams that have clinched playoff berths here, with 1 week to play. Rant and Rave in the 4th spot, just kind of, on the verge and with a win and some help could actually get the bye. So pretty solidly there. Going the whole way down to the 6th spot, that record of 8-5 is kind of that record that fills out the rest of the playoffs. I'm alone in this league as far as, you guys, and I'm at 6 and 7. So I need a win and then a little bit of help to get in there. Actually, it looks like I'm 2 games back. So I guess I'm out of the playoffs here in this one. So I'm setting my tee times here.
Exactly. Clownhead 4, Jason Henson with a 255.16.
And Jason Henson is in the playoffs. 5 of the 6 teams have clinched the playoff spot, and so they're looks like a little bit of point shuffling to get the first round bye. So to come on strong here and add points, could really get him into the playoffs and possibly even a bye. In the 6th spot, looks like the real Brad Smith is sitting there, our producer, and he wins, he gets the playoff spot. He also won this league last year, so he's trying to maintain that and go take it back to back. You and I, Justin, we're down in the 9 and the 10 spot, so we are looking at getting tee times.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm in the 12 spot. I guess I saw the wrong icon, but yeah, we're getting tee times here in this league.
Oh yeah, count on chickens for next year.
Yeah. Sure.
Clownhead 5 with the high score for 1 through 5. Hurricane Zion to 329.67.
Well, and Hurricane Zion in the 3 spot, and here the top 5 teams have clinched their playoff berths. Looks like Hurricane needs a win and some help. Well, actually has more points than the 2, so a win and gets that bye, and a circle the wagons loss. So that's kind of where we are there. In the 6th spot, Malahome's actually a full game ahead of me. I'm 1 game back, so beat me head to head last week, and that kind of probably sealed the fate. I do have more points though, so if I get a win and she gets a loss, then I will sneak into the playoffs here in this.
Excellent. Yeah. So I had the pleasure on going up against Hurricane Zion last week, week 13. We're going to look over his roster that he had set. Geno Smith, 46.21. Jake Browning, 39.66. Rhamondre Stevenson, 7.15. ETN, 25.15. Tyreek Hill, 46.3. AJ Brown, 21.9. Nuka 31.9, Pittman 30, Gerald Everett 17.4, Noah Fant 14.3, Isaiah Pacheco 30.8, Chris Olave 18.9. Scrolling down to his bench, he has Desmond Ritter on his bench. Let's see who else. And Miles Sanders down there. I still haven't figured that out. And then the backfield there, Tyler Higbee, KJ Osborne.
I know Andre Stevens is hurt, but he might be a guy that I see down there on the bench, and looks like he has Dalton Kincaid as well in the end spots.
Indeed. Wish him the best of luck coming up here.
Yeah. I see producer Brad is playing Mahomes, so I need him to get a win here this week in that league. So I'm cheering for him.
Excellent. So we're going to head on to the Clownhead 6 through 9. Clownhead 6, Jerry B 83 with the 311.25.
And Jerry B in the 4th spot here, and top 3 spots have clinched the playoff berth. So, Jerry wins, he's in. It looks like the 6th spot is a full game behind. So pretty likely that Jerry's going to get a playoff spot with the most points there. So that's good. I see you're up there on pace to get the first round bye in the 2 spots. So it looks like you'll be able to watch this league for week 15.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to see if I can hold off 2 Beast 49 this week. Got to get that W. Clownhead 7, Biff Cannon with a 606.60.
And Biff Cannon is our number 1 seed here in this league, and looks like a logjam at the top. 3 teams with 9-4 records, and then 2 teams with 8-5. The top 3 teams didn't clinch a playoff berth, so they're in the playoffs. But it looks like that first round bye is in doubt, and who gets it. I see you down there in the 8th spot, tied record-wise with the 6th seed. So you're kind of fighting for your playoff life there as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of cheering against all you guys because I'm that 1 game behind. But I think realistically, my points, it'll be tough for me I'd have to gain a couple hundred points. So I'll cheer for you this week and hope that you get in the playoffs here to represent us.
Sounds good, and I appreciate that. Clownhead 8, Thing with a 297.75.
And Thag there from the 6th spot. Looks like 3 teams have clinched their playoff berths. And so looking at Thag, the couple other team or one other team with a 7-6 record, but kind of holding on, win should be in, unless it gives way with a bunch of points. I see you're in the 5 spot trying to also get that playoff berth, and if you win, you're in the playoffs. I'm way down in the 11th spot, so I'm kind of setting my tee times.
Yeah, I kind of went on a losing streak in this league. I was towards the top a few weeks ago. Now we're going to head over to Clownhead 9, which hosted our top scorer for 6 through 9 this week, Psalm 3303 with a 319.84.
And he's really put together a couple of impressive weeks here down the stretch because he was our top scorer last week too for Clownhead 6 through 9. So he kind of ran it back 2 weeks in a row. As you see, he's in the number 1 spot. 1 full game ahead, lots of points as well. So even though he hasn't clinched a first round bye, he's really well on his way to a first round bye. Looks like the top 5 teams here in this division have already clinched a playoff berth. So Hot Sauce Willie at 6 and 7, is on the verge of winning and in. And then there's a bunch of teams with the 5 and 8 record, and you being one of them that could, I guess pass in theory, but you'd have to get a couple 280 more points than Hot Sauce Willie. So you might be joining me for a tea time here in this league. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking as well. All right, let's take a look at his starting lineup that he had this past week. He had Dak Prescott with 40.51, Jameson Williams, 16.75. I'm sorry, Javonte Williams. Tyreek Hill, 46.3. Debo, 45.55. Travis Kelce, 22.1. Antonio Gibson, 16.7. Cortland Sutton, 20.2. AJ Dillon, 17.7. Amari Cooper, 6.9. Raheem Mercer, 16.35. Jared Goff, 24.57. Geno Smith, 46.21. Scroll down to his bench as the DeVito quarterback for the Jets there. Barkley down there, which is nice to have. Had a bye week this past week. TJ Hawkinson as well. Looks like it's Darren Waller and on his IR, same with Jonathan Taylor, which honestly, I think Jonathan Taylor will be back week 16 or 17, maybe just in time for the main championship round. And also, I think Darren Waller hopes to return very soon as well.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. And a really nice team. I mean, obviously running it back, 2 weeks in a row, the top scorer. That's awesome. So congratulations to him, 3303.
Indeed. And we're going to head over to our big Elite Eight. Division A, the FF Prez with 315.7.
And as you notice, the FF Prez is in the one spot here. And one of the kind of ironic things as we look ahead to the larger tournament here, we do have our top two teams already established, the FF Prez, and then returning Final Four finalists, the Wolfpack in the 2 spot here with an 11-2 record. And there's nobody in the hunt here. A lot of separation down to the 3 spot, so these guys have punched a ticket to the big tournament. Looking at this league, this division in general, top 5 teams are already set for the playoffs. People still fighting for that 6th spot, and there's 3 teams tied with a 6-7 record. Kind of fighting for that. I'm in this division. I'm going to finish, with 4 wins, so I'm down in the 9 spot right now, and taking the tea time here as well.
Excellent. Division B, Michael with 808 with a 268.09.
And Michael here is down in the 6th spot. So, kind of way down here. And likewise in this, the top 6 teams have punched their ticket into the divisional playoffs here. So they're all preset. Those top 6 teams are in. And everybody below that is not in. I see you have 5 wins, Justin, and so you're setting your tea time here in this league. As we look at the big tournament, we've got Mucho with a 12-1 record and 808 riding with 11-2. But Seaballs with 10-3, not only needs to win, but needs a little bit of help. And realistically, probably can't get there. 200 full points behind. So, it looks like. But I guess, there's always, you never give up hope until it's over. So I guess I always say that, when there's a mathematical chance, you just run with it. But good luck to each of those 3 teams as they pursue the big championship.
Indeed. Division C, the Camber with a 270.93.
And the Camera actually comes out of the 3 spot. And looking here in this division, we have the top 4 teams in the division have punched their ticket to the playoffs. Looking, down the line a little bit, looks like there's 2 7-6 teams, and those 2 teams, when they win, they're both in the playoffs. But knocking on the door, we still have Commish at 6-7, so a little bit of help. With a loss, especially Miller time and Cameron and a Commish win, and those can kind of flip flop a little bit. Looks like the Draft Guru and Little Brad 9210 are the top 2 spots right now, 1 full game ahead of the Camera. So the Camera's 1 game behind, is close enough to Brad, that could make a 50 points off, could make a run here, and a loss and a win, and then gain 50 points is believable that there could be some shuffling at the top of the board here.
Indeed. Division D, JM Thorm 17 with a 252.84.
And in Division D, where do we have? Way down in the 12th spot. So just coming on strong out of last place, just fighting. Always like to see those teams, down at the bottom of the standings, really fighting. And here, only the top 3 teams have punched their ticket to the playoffs. Looks like a kind of a wide open division per se. Bumsky's is our number 1 seed currently with that 13-0 record. So, he wins and he'll remain the number 1 seed overall in the whole tournament. However, Pritchard 03 with the 10-3 record, and then Al Saltations 9-4 still could get into that big tournament, there as well. And then looking at divisionally, in the 6th spot, a record of 6-7, and Jake Peterson also 6-7. So with Killer Sam 5-8. So there's some maneuverability there to get into the playoffs, can still happen. And so we'll be anxious to see how that transpires as we go in Division D.
Excellent. Division E, Danny Nichols with a 311.81.
And Danny Nichols came on pretty strong. Looks like Danny Nichols is actually in the 2 spot here in this division, and kind of on pace to get to those to the big playoffs. But this is one of our most contested divisions for the big playoffs, actually, with 4 teams in the hunt, tied record. Well, 2 of the teams tied record-wise with Danny Nichols. Trader Dan actually in the 1 seed here, and it looks, like mathematically could get X'd out of the playoff, all the playoffs with the points there. I mean, conceivably, if he wins, he's in, but could find his way out of the large playoffs, in this division. All 6 teams have clinched, so if you're not in the top 6 here, you're not going to be in the playoffs on the divisional level. Philip Rupert Miralles, tied with Danny Nichols record-wise, and then we have JSL 111, and who was our champ last year, and Rusty 30, 1 game behind that. So we'll be anxious to see how that kind of comes together, and who gets those final spots in the large playoffs.
Indeed. Division F, Achilles the Hub with 330.65.
Well, he's our number 1 seed in this division. Achilles the Hub with 12-1 record, so real strong showing there. Slick the Roller at 10-3 is holding that 2nd spot right now, but same record, Matt DeFalco and America's team. So, there can be some jockeying around positionally here, I think, to get into the large playoffs. It looks like the top 4 spots that I just mentioned are in the playoffs, though, with teams fighting for those last 2 spots. Looks like we have 3 teams fighting for those 2 spots with an 8-5 record, and then there's a couple teams down or a team down at 6-7, but that is mathematically been eliminated with 1 to go. So we'll see what happens there in the jockeying for position out of the other teams.
Excellent. Division G was our high score of the week here. K Quinn 545 with a 351.98.
Here in this division, actually, only the top 2 teams have clinched a playoff berth in the division. K Quinn comes in at the 3rd spot with that 9-4 record. Looks like we go down to the 6th spot, 8-5, 7th spot, 8-5 as well. So 7 teams fighting for the 6 spots here, and there can be a little bit of jockeying going on for those spots. Looking at the Dutch Dynasty 11-2, Miley R 10-3, and then K Quinn, Boise, and Top Flight Hooker all 9-4. 1 full game behind. So I'll be anxious to see if any of those can overtake Miley R this week for that 2nd spot in the large playoffs.
Excellent. Now let's take a look at his lineup he had this set for this past week. Started Dak Prescott, 43.41, Jared Goff, 26.17, Antonio Gibson, 16.7, Joe Mixon, 39.95, D Hop, 20.65, Michael Pittman, 30, Tyreek Hill, 46.3, Curtis Samuel, 11.5, Travis Kelce, 22.1, Jake Ferguson, 33.7, Sam Laporta, 51, Tyler Higbee, 10.5. Let's see, scroll down to this bench. Doesn't have any other starting quarterbacks. He has Zeke there, which Zeke might be in for a pretty good load with Ramondre Stevenson with a high ankle sprain there. Jonathan Mingo, Tyler Boyd, Taysom Hill. He has Aaron Rodgers on his bench, and I think he's been starting to throw a little bit. I don't see him coming back this year, though.
Okay, looking at Division H, I guess we'll take a peek at that.
Indeed, Division H, Cowboys and Utes with a 251.15.
And Cowboys and Utes was actually our champion last year, so it seems like he's really coming on in this division, and he's in the 2 spot here, and so on pace to actually be able to possibly take a shot at getting that Empire Fund in year 2. Just kind of has a chance to come back to back, and he was the 2 seed in his division last year as well. So this is kind of familiar territory, I guess you could say. He has the most points in the league, which are in this particular division as well. But UW is 11-2, has the better record, and then W Norton 23, actually with a 9-4, is kind of on the verge and could overtake Cowboys and Utes with other Cowboys and Utes loss and a Norton win, and 500 points. So I guess it seems pretty unlikely that happens. Looks like the top 5 teams have clinched a playoff berth, and then we're down to Wildflowers wins and in. With a loss, though, all of a sudden, Malahem's, the Riverbed DP, have a chance to kind of come in and swoop in and get that 6th and final playoff spot. So that's kind of how that looks and shapes up. We'll outline it a little bit more next week as we do the preview show for the playoffs. But at the same time, simultaneously, there'll be the top 2 teams will play in Week 15 for the big tournament, and then at the same time, in Week 15, also the bottom 4 teams that are in the playoffs, so teams 3 through 6, will face off, play head to head as well in Week 15. So that's kind of how that will look.
Excellent. Now let's head on over to our Big 8 division. Division S, Johnny Danger with a 321.28.
And Johnny actually joined the league here late, just mid-season, so he was able to kind of come to us, late. And as you notice here, he's down in the 6th spot. So just really turned this team around and got him winning. Looks like the top 5 teams have clinched, so Johnny wins and he's in. Otherwise, there's 2 teams knocking on the door with a 6 and 7 record. So, and it looks like the points are very well. I guess they're a couple hundred points below. So should be able to win and be in and take care of his own business. If he loses, then it's going to come down to points. Looking at Division S, JHH 9327 is the 1 seed, 11-2. Justin with the 2 seed, 10-3. But Z-Flu Senior 10-3 as well. So knocking on the door. And then a couple teams 9-4. So, if they win and one of those other 2 teams lose it, or those other 2 teams lose, then they've got a chance to sneak into those large playoffs in this division.
Excellent. Now go to Division T, Malahomes with a 274.71.
Malahomes comes to us out of the 8th spot, so kind of down the board on a 3-game winning streak, though. And feel like that's, coming on strong here at the end. all 6 teams have clinched the playoff berth there, so she'll be on the outside looking in. Just kind of got started a little bit too late. Looking at the larger tournament, Noisy Silence and Captain Curl take those 2 spots, 10-3, 9-4. But then Jaybird with a 9-4 also, and then Buick, Turkleton, and El Diaz all 8-5. So all in the mix there. It comes down to points, and a lot of things can happen. So we'll be anxious to see if anybody overtakes those top 2 people in Division T.
Indeed, looking forward to it. Division U, J Mule, the 283.97.
Jay Mule is in the 2nd spot here in this league, and looks like all 5 of the 6 teams have clinched that playoff berth. And San Zanto actually in the 6th spot, 7-6, kind of win and in is how that's going to shape out. However, the Draft Guru in the 7th spot, 1 game behind, is leading by about 300 points. So, Sam Zanto loses and the Draft Guru wins, and all of a sudden that'll flop for that final playoff spot in the divisional playoff. Earth Got Black 11-2 and Jay Mule 10-3 kind of take those 2 top spots, but Jay Yates also 10-3, and so there could be some jockeying there with Cellar Dweller at 9-4, kind of bringing up the rear there that can still work its way into the large playoffs.
Excellent. Now we're going to go to our Division B, Danny Nichols with a 282.86.
And Danny Nichols, really strong team here in this league. He's 12-1, and the top 2 teams have clinched the berth into the large playoffs, with SB Sherman 10-2 as well. So he's clinched his way into that playoff. Actually, he should be 11-2. So I'm not sure why my records were wrong there, but yeah. So he's clinched it. He's also clinched his way in. Can't lose out on those top 2 spots. It looks like 5 of the 6 playoff teams have clinched divisional titles. So that leaves us with Hot Sauce Wally at 7-6, and then the Jewish Cupcake at 6-7, 1 full game behind, but ahead by about 200 points. So there could be a flip-flop there with a win and a loss with who gets in the divisional playoffs in this division.
Indeed. Now the Division W, Philip Rupert with a 287.22.
And Philip Rupert in the 3 spot, actually, kind of on that verge of clinching the divisional playoff berth. With the top 3 teams have clinched. And then we look down to the 6th spot where the record is 7-6, and looking down at 7, 8, and 9, they're all 6-7. So, could be some jockeying for those final couple spots, because 4, 5, and 6 are all 7-6. So I feel like there's 3 teams 1 game behind. So a loss and a win, and all of a sudden that could get really, interesting how that all comes down. Philip Rupert has that 9-4 record. David R. also 9-4 in the 2 spot, occupying to get to those big playoffs. So again, just about 24 points behind Philip Rupert with an equal record. So, a lot of things can happen this week, even with some wins, and we might have a little bit of jockeying for those large playoffs. And then G-Town Baseball 22 with a 10-3 record looks pretty solidly in, but again, a loss and a Philip Rupert win, and then going from the top spot the whole way down to out of the large playoffs could happen here, because he's 200 points behind in total points. So there could be some jockeying for positioning in this division for sure.
Excellent. Division X, JSL 111 to 334.86.
And JSL 111 actually in the 2 spot here, and it looks like the top 4 teams have clinched a playoff berth. Looking at 5 and 6, I see the real Brad Smith in the 5 spot here with a 7-6 record. Couple teams, or 1 team in the 6 is 6-7. So all of a sudden a loss by the real Brad Smith or Felix the Cat, and a win, and it could get a little bit interesting. All those teams are in the 2,600 point range, so there could be some jockeying for position there. The top 2 spots, however, are clinched. So that's Titan Chaps with 11-2, and JSL 111 with a 10-3 record, and they'll be representing this division in the large playoffs.
Excellent. Division Y is my league. Slippy Nanner with a 329.02.
I feel like the Slippy Nanners really kind of run away with this thing in the top spot there, with a 12-1 record, and then Nick Merkel with a 10-3 record. Both of them have clinched those top two spots, so they'll be heading to the large playoffs. When we look at this team, a couple spots, the 6, the 7, both at 7-6. So yeah, Justin, looks like you're in the 7 spot, so you're just slightly behind. Looks like about 25 points behind Army Ranger for that final playoff spot. So if you both win, you gain 25 points, and you'll be that representative in this divisional playoff. If he loses, you win, then you're just in. And if he wins and you lose, then you'll be on the outside looking in. So that's kind of how that's going to shape up there in Division Y. When we look at the large playoffs, I guess maybe I did mention it there, they've clinched. So we know who those top 2 teams will be.
Excellent. Now we're going to go Division Z, which was our top scorer of the Big 8, Mario 19 with a 367.56.
A big number there. And Mario 19 is in the 2 spot, 10-3, behind Marshall Gore, who is 12-1 and has clinched a spot in that large playoffs. We do have Ritz with a 9-4 record, but about 200 points behind Mario 19. So a loss by Mario and a win by Ritz, still has to make up a couple hundred points. So very unlikely that he'll get to the large playoffs. We do have 3 spots clinched. And then we look down at the 6th spot, and actually 5, 6, 7, all at 7-6. So, 3 teams fighting for those 2 spots. So we'll see how that all comes out with teams winning and losing, and who gets those final spots. If any of those teams does lose, they'll probably find themselves on the outside looking in this week. And we can take a look at their rosters and who they're playing.
Yeah, excellent. So his roster structure for this past week was Tua with 37.2, Joe Mixon 39.95, Tyreek Hill 46.3, DK Metcalf 44.9, Pat Frymuth 13.4, Gerald Everett 17.4, Chris Olave 18.9, Mike Evans 39.2, Nico Collins 40.1, Devin Singletary 8 points, Trevor Lawrence 33.37, Russell Wilson 28.84. Look down on his bench. He has Zach Wilson there, which I believe it was just stated that Zach Wilson is going to be the starting quarterback for the Jets for Week 14. So that's nice. He has Gus Edwards and Alexander Madison, Rob Woods. He has a pretty stout package of tight ends here with Chris Okonkwo, Bevon Jordan, Tyler Conklin.
Got a tight end room there that goes for days, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. They're pretty good ones there.
Yeah, and in Cloudheads with 3-point PPR, I mean, I feel like those tight ends really can boost the number for you as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares there this week. And I want to wish everybody good luck as we hit that final week of fantasy regular season. And so for some of us, that are on the outside looking in, or already booking the tee times, as we just encourage you to really, fight hard this last week of the regular season, because that'll, you can really play some havoc, and it's not going to influence your draft order or your draft position. So I know some people always, are concerned with that, but we go with the least amount of max PF for ping pong balls. So, and we'll host that drawing live. I'm excited to do that with everybody in the room live on Selection Sunday. So you have that to look forward to if you're in the bottom six. But if you're in those top six, good luck, and hopefully you can jockey for position. And if you're in the bottom six, hopefully you can wreak some havoc on those top spots as well, and change the order of who gets to go to the playoffs. So just encourage that. Next week, we're going to kind of have a couple phases in our recap show. So we will have a show to kick off the Elite Eight. We'll have a show to kick off the Big Eight, and those will be very short shows just to kind of outline how those large tournaments will go. And then we'll have our normal recap show, which will encapsulate the final regular season week for all of the Cloudhead Nation, and kind of what to expect in week 15 and who the playoff teams are and who has the chance to maybe get some of that Empire money in all of the leagues. I guess we're 9, and yeah, a lot of Empire. So 16 and 9 is 25 and 2, 27 Empire pots. Really up for grabs. So an awful lot of them, out there that can be had. So good luck to everybody, and I know you're kind of feeling under the weather, Justin. So we'll sign off, on the short. Thank you for grinning and bearing it with us, and being diligent here this week. And
Absolutely.
maybe you'll get a win. Maybe you'll get a couple wins in Clownhead Nation this week and be ready for some buys. It looks like you're on pace for some buys in the playoffs. And so good luck to everybody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and look forward to some unique content, coming out here over the next couple of weeks. And if you have ideas of content you'd like, by all means, I'll put that in the chat as well. And join Clownhead's tournament on DraftKings. So we're excited to have that, and we'll be doing that all throughout the playoffs. So good luck to everybody. And for now, he's Justin, I'm Ed, and so long.